Greetings, Patrick here. 8 Questions with. Welcome to the show. Uh, it is a pleasant day here in southeastern Michigan. The sun has come out in the afternoon. 60 degrees. So it's a nice night. Uh, Hopefully that means that spring is on its way. That would be a very welcome sign. Uh, Our guests will be the Gross Brothers, Tim and Tom. They're going to come back. We're going to talk GrossFest 2026. This is their fan convention they do every year, and in my opinion, it's definitely the best one. It really, truly is. I really like to get out there to one of these days to actually go out there and to go visit them. It's based in Pennsylvania, so it's not horribly far away. Um, I just have to get up my nerve to actually go go someplace. But to me, it's the best. He has the coolest guests, uh, and family friendly, affordable, tons of vendors. The guest list, extremely cool. It's not a lot of the same faces you see at a lot of conventions. These are people who are excited to be here, excited to say hi to their fans, and to celebrate. To celebrate. Um, Last year they celebrated Mark Polonia. This year they are celebrating Todd Sheets. That's right, Bone Hill Road. Um, uh, Neon Purple. Uh, let's see. There is a ton of Todd Sheets movies out there. I think it's Dreaming Neon. I like and or is it Hot in Topeka? I can't remember. But anyway, Todd Sheets, king of extreme horror, is going to be here this year. The guest list also includes Jennifer Nagel will be back, Malvoya, the Queen of Screams, definitely going to come back. Absolutely rocked the show a couple of years back. So this year that she's coming back to do it again. We have Angel Nicole Bradford and Morgan Malone Thompson. They're going to be here. That's going to be cool as hell. So you guys can go ahead and take your copy of their movies and get it signed. Let's see. Let me tell you who else is on here because we're going to be talking about the guest list. Because I got to tell you, now we talked before about putting together a guest list for a convention. That actually is a lot harder than you think, because one, you're competing for one because you're hoping that the person you get is available, or two, if they are available, you hope to come and hit out yours instead of getting the invitation from like 30 other conventions. Um, I think it's really cool that the fact that they go out there and their guest list is second to none, in my opinion. I think they put a lot of thought into it. They have filmmakers here, Brad Twigg, Melissa Sapazia, who we've talked to on the show before. We've also talked to Steve and Eileen, Steve Radzinski and Eileen. We've talked to them, the husband and wife filmmakers, the ones who put together the ultra cool Duke, the crazy ass unicorn, plus a lot of cat movies, which always makes me smile because Steve Radzinski is a really great guy. You guys have heard it. Every time I talk about Steve, I just gotta hype it up, man. But he's like a hero to me. He's got a great heart. Eileen as well. Just two tremendously gifted people, and they're being noticed. Steve has actually won Best of Pittsburgh, so he's like Pittsburgh's favorite filmmaker, which I can understand that. Um, yeah, because he's made some really great films like Meowie Christmas. You can't go wrong with that. I'm telling you, trust me. Uh, so there's tons of vendors too. The prices are really affordable. I mean, because money's tight this year. Anthony is here and Eric is here. Welcome in, welcome in. Um, yeah, glad you guys are here for GrossFest 2026. Like I said, it takes a time to get together a guest list. It's not easy, but I noticed that this year it went by fast. That tells me the guests were looking for, as soon as Tom and Tim approached them, they were sitting there going like hell to the yes, count me in. They weren't like, well, can you check with me in about 3 or 4 months and I'll tell you what my schedule is. No, no, they were booked. I mean, they were already booked. The show was last year in August. I think they had their first guest booked and announced. I think October or November. That's really fast. Really, trust me. Um, so that tells me that this is a rising, and it used to be just one day. Now it's gone to 2 days, sustainable for 2 days. Tons of people coming in. $15 gets you in for both days, not one day, but both days. $15. Hell, you can't even buy lunch at a regular convention for that kind of money. Oh, you might not even have enough money for to park your car for $15. Uh, but they do. They have it. They have it down, and you can go ahead and park your car and pay $15 and come in and be thoroughly entertained. So I'm glad they're back and to talk about the show. Of course, the big news today is the passing of Chuck Norris. Chuck died today. He was 86 years old. That's weird because I just got done reviewing my first Chuck Norris movie. Now I reviewed an episode of Walker Texas Ranger, and I just got done reviewing A Force of One, which will be out in a couple of weeks. Uh, and of course, we interviewed Marshall Teague, who is a very close friend of Chuck's. And I went over to his Facebook page and offer my condolences because him and Chuck were like brothers. And uh, I guess he put out a video around his 86th birthday, and he was out there still sparring. And Jesus Christ, he still could punch a hole through you. You could see that in his punches. He still had all that power. That guy was in hell of shape. That's hell of good shape. I don't know what happened to him today. Um, I'm thinking myself, I'm thinking maybe God needed a bodyguard. Uh, that's the only thing I can think of, or maybe God was going on vacation and wants someone to run the whole heaven open while he was on vacation. So he called Chuck home. I don't know what it is. Uh, but I just, he did a lot for a lot of people. Um, he made martial arts very in between him and I really have to sit there and say that he did, only because Bruce was gone so quick. But Chuck picked up the mantle and he ran with it. 6 times world champion. He got into films. Um, I love the Missing in Action trilogy and Invasion USA. Yes, Invasion USA is a classic Chuck Norris movie. He squares off against one of my very favorite bad guys, Richard Lynch. He blows Richard Lynch out of a building. That's so awesome. Okay, Ruskoff, Merry Christmas or something like that, and he blows him blows him out of the building. Um, they actually all that action on that and Invasion USA. Those are all practicals. Um, they bought a patch of land or they rented it or whatever they was. It was like some abandoned houses, and they got to blow them all up. So all the explosions that we saw in Invasion USA, that was all planned. And holy shit, they could only do it once. It was one of those stunts. It's one of those stunts that they only get one shot at it. That's it. And so they did it, and it came out fantastic. And that is definitely one of Chuck Norris's definitive movies. Now, the movie that we covered, and I just got this too, and I just got done showing this. I picked this up last Tuesday at the library. So here's Chuck right there. I just picked this up. Of course, Eric won't care about Chuck Norris. Not when I tell him that I got a Lorenzo Lamas movie. That's Lorenzo Lamas is in here. But no, there's three Chuck Norris movies in this, and I just picked this up, and I'm going like, yeah, this is awesome. I just got done reviewing A Force of One. That's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks on Dollar Theater, and I just got three more Chuck movies. Plus, I have more. I have Invasion USA. I have Invasion USA, and I think I have Top Dog. And I still had the first season of Walker, Texas Ranger. So I have plenty of Chuck to draw upon as far as talk about. So I will be doing that. I definitely going to be adding a new Chuck movie on there for review purposes. As a homage. Yeah. That was in fact and it's funny as how that happened is my original movie that I was going to be reviewing, which I'm still am. Eric and I are actually going to be going and doing in deep dive mode. We're going to cover Nowhere to Run with Jean-Claude Van Damme. So what I did was, well, I pulled it out. I pulled that out because I know we're going to be talking about it, and I wanted to substitute another movie, martial arts movie, into it. So I just got that. I just got maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I just got that Chuck Norris double header. Good Guy Wears Black and A Force of One. So I said, okay, I'm going to cover A Force of One because I do remember that movie. Except that I got the girl wrong. I thought that Jennifer O'Neill was in the Octagon, but no, she's in A Force of One. Good movie. Good movie. Yeah, that's right. And we're also doing Lionheart. That's right. We will be doing Lionheart. It Lionheart, is interesting is that Lionheart is very much like the James Bond movie with Denise Richards and Sophie Marceau. It's interesting is that the bad girl, the villainess, is a lot more interesting than the good girl. And same thing with Lionheart. It's like, man, they got such a great girl to play the bad girl. And so that was a fun movie. That's a fun movie to talk about. Of course, we'll be talking Chuck too, I'm sure, during that time. And I'll address this now before the boys get here. So I'm glad it happened. I had actually wanted this to happen. I wanted people to talk about it. So I really came out of 178 movies that I reviewed for Dollar Theater, or just in general. Not very many actually. Um, Yours truly went on a rant. That's right. I finally cracked. There's finally a movie that I watched that I just said, "Oh fuck this," and I just now I watched some really fun indie movies. I have no problems at all. Anybody who wants to challenge my indiehood, go right ahead. You can say what you want about it. Anybody who's ever looked at my content knows that that's really all I do. I do a lot of indies. I don't do a lot of mainstream horror. You haven't seen anybody. You haven't seen anybody. The only thing that I probably have done as far as mainstream goes was a retrospective on Friday the 13th that I did with Al Licard. That's because it's the best mainstream series around. So yes, but as far as other movies, you don't really see that around on my channel. I'm not trying to stick my thumb up saying, look at me, I'm different, I'm different. It's just what I do. That's how I'm wired. I guess I got that from my music days when I would just book local bands and book indie bands. I never went because I never get a chance to get them. So I always got the smaller bands. I love the smaller bands. And that's what that's what excites me. And same thing here. When I do my film reviews, or is I do a lot of indie reviews, and I do a lot of indie. A lot of people I've talked to here on the show. Go back and look, and there's only a handful of people that you really know are household names. just a handful, very small, very small. You could probably, I mean, maybe 20, 25 people that I could mention that you probably have heard of out of 600, because the rest of the people are just people that just you just wouldn't hear of. And so as far as me giving a movie, Watzilla, just because I crushed it, um, it's I just felt like it's just my point of view is I think a director has a responsibility to get better. I think it does because you're asking people to eventually, hopefully, pay money to see your movie. That's the goal, right? To actually get people through the door, pay tickets to see your movie, move on to something bigger and better. Should be the goal of a director. Also, a director, to me, is designed to protect its talent. You're asking these people to come work for you and bring their talent and help you tell your story. You're supposed to protect them, not exploit them. Protect them, right? And that's really my whole point with Wasilla was, and the other movies he does. This director does. I don't even want to mention his name. I'm not going to give him any power. Not until he puts out something good. Now, if he wants to put something good out and he says, "Hey, I got something good for you," I'll watch it. Definitely. But if you putting out the same shit that you're putting out now, you're gonna get the same shit that I just got done dropping, as far as my review goes. I'm not gonna hold back on that. Um, yeah, you know what? That's fine. Okay. The boys are here. We might talk a little bit about this. We'll see how they feel about it. Uh, Try to come back in. Let's see. Where are they at? Where are they at? If you can hear me, boys, just come back in. Let me tell them. Let me tell them that. Want to give these guys. Oh, hold on. Give me a second here. Holy cow! If you can hear me, boys, just come on in. See if they're having trouble. Have them try to use try to come in on Chrome. Okay. All right. The GrossFest is a once a year film convention, horror film convention, and Tim and Tom are they're brothers, and they run it. They own and run it, and they didn't get through. Bless you. They didn't get through. They tried to come through the studio, so I had to tell them to try to come back in using the Chrome. So yeah, so that was my 2 cents about the Wattsville thing. But I like watching indie films. I'm watching one right now called The R.I.P. Man. It is made by a filmmaker named Jimmy Longerford. And I watched the first 20 minutes of it. It's pretty badass, and it's a slasher. The last movie we watched of his, it was a supernatural movie, supernatural horror. This one's a straight slasher film, but has a really interesting villain in it. That's for sure. I haven't seen anything like this at all. It's very original, and about 20 minutes into it, and yeah, I think definitely fans will enjoy.
See, it's all his fault.
No, well, I can't hear him though.
Yay!
I can't hear him.
He ain't talking.
Hold on, right here. We got you. Oh, what happened? What the hell? Okay, you're back. I don't know why you're being bounced. That's crazy. Can you hear me all right?
Hold on.
Can you hear
Why
me?
can't I hear you?
Yeah, I hear
That's what he's asking.
I hear you.
Speakers. Why is it not?
Maybe you have to do it again.
No, why can't I? Why? This worked last time.
I'm sure.
Oh, he hears us, but we can't hear you.
Wow, that's.
I don't. Where is my speakers thing at?
It would be that thing.
This is a good. This StreamYard, always good for a mess up.
If he comes on, he's going to be real loud all of a sudden.
Why is the speaker? Or took your sound down? Work? Yeah. Where is that? Where's sound? Where's sound? Where's sound? Wow. Works every other time.
Yeah.
That's speaker. This is irritating me now.
Died.
Oh, where is this? This is starting to irritate me. Sound volume mixer. Why do I have no sound?
I'm sure it isn't the thing since said go in and out of it just to get it to work.
Yeah, if you want to.
This is why. This is starting to really irritate me now. Let's try that again. Why is nothing working? Now nothing is wanting to work.
Can you hear me? All right. So we're gonna have them try to come back in using Chrome. Good old StreamYard. You can always count on StreamYard to cause a ruckus. Let's see. I like Talk to Me that came out in 2022. Yeah, I'm stoked for that one. And I'm looking for that one to They Follow. after It Follows. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. It Follows is a modern classic. Holy shit, that movie's great. It got me to jump. I got spooked in that movie. I won't deny that. That movie scared the shit out of me. I love the music in that movie too. The music was definitely a character in that. But as far as GrossFest goes, it's here to celebrate all thing indie films, indie filmmakers, stars, and I mean, this year they're celebrating one of the funnest and goriest film directors out there, and Todd Sheets. So last year they did Mark Polonia, and so that was really cool. And they have some of the stars that are they're coming out to hang out with you guys as well over the weekend, and probably more than what they're listed. I'm sure there's probably a few more that they haven't put up there as of yet. And I don't know who wrote their press release for their website. Man, I'm jealous. They did a really nice job on that. I'm gonna go ahead and drop. I'm gonna drop the link over here, so you guys can, and I'll pin it too, so you guys can go and check that out. The GrossFest, as far as who's coming, and which I'm sure you guys will be tickled by the guest list. It's a good one, definitely good. Let's see, a lot of talent coming to GrossFest 2026 this year. I have no idea. They can't get there. I could hear them. I'm sure you guys can hear them too, but they couldn't hear us. So they are working on their speakers right now. I have no idea what happened to the speakers. I told them to try to come out, try to go back out, and then try to come back in using Chrome. I do know that sometimes that helps because whenever I use my StreamYard, hey John, whenever I use, I saw you went live today, my brother, and I went over there to hang out with you, but you were already gone. You're only up for 17 minutes. I'm going like, holy cow. Okay, they're rebooting their computer, so give me a minute here. Yeah, I don't know what happened. That's really strange. So we'll give them a few minutes for them to get back on board here. Yeah, it's, you know what though, it's all right. There's, now that they know, and now that you know how much they want you, now you can go ahead and circle it for next year, John. Now you can hold that spot for next year. You can know for sure that they'll probably have you come back next year for sure. I know they will. So I would just circle the calendar, for 2027, and just book it then. Hell, they already start booking. They start booking. They told me, Tim and Tom told me, they start booking and they already start planning the next year's show the day after the show, the day after at the end of 2026. The very next day, the very same week, they get together and start planning out for the next year. So I'm sure that if you sit there and say, hey, I want to be here in 2027, I'm sure that could, I can't speak for them, of course, but I'm sure that you guys could work something out. All right, here we go. Let's.
Oh, come on! I died on Galaxy.
Hey. All right, can you hear me?
Sure.
Oh, nice. All right. What happened?
I have no idea. It
It's all right though. You're here now. And that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, you're right.
Uh, man, I'm excited to talk about GrossFest because you guys have just lit it up. I thought last year was badass. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching, because you guys said, Patrick, the day after the show is over, even as we're cleaning up the place, we're already planning the next year's show. We already got plans. We got them written down on our books. We're already working on the next one.
Yep.
And by God, if you weren't telling the truth, you booked this year's show. I think you had it booked before the end of the year.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. That's amazing. And a testament to you. I mean, it's a testament to GrossFest that the town is sitting there waiting for that phone call, waiting for that invite, and they're going like hell to the yes. Count me in. Let's see. I mean, and count me in. And sure enough, here they come. You got yet another fantastic lineup.
Thank you.
And the chat is popping in too. We're talking a little about John from Doomsday Crypt is here. I said, of course, I can't speak for anybody, of course. Not a sponsor. But he definitely couldn't do the show this year, but he definitely wants to do it next year. And I told him, I says, get your calendar, John. Circle the dates that the boys are going to have, and then circle the date, and then, and tell anybody else that wants to do, say, Crypt, tell them to go jump in the lake because, they might have plans. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. Last year, well, first of all, how the hell you guys been? Are you guys getting excited for the show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We just did our first show last weekend we've been promoting it to begin with, but it was our first convention last weekend, which was a retro show out at Monroeville Mall.
What do you mean by retro show?
Retro show, just simply, it was vendors there selling old albums, 8-tracks, VHS tapes, all kinds of stuff like that. So it was.
Are there still 8-tracks out there?
Yeah. Oh, we had some old dude behind us. He had some great stuff. Great stuff.
Man, I thought all those had just gone by the wayside, because of the attrition. Think you think pretty soon it's just not anything left because they've all gone, but they're still out there, huh?
Yeah. He even had a player so you could make sure it worked before you bought it.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember I had okay, so this is really showing how old I am, but I had an 8-track player. And I even had a few tapes, but of course the 8-track players also had the same weakness as our first VHS players, and that is sometimes he would eat the tape.
Yeah. Now in like this place, you could have bought a VCR, you could have bought a Laserdisc player, you could have bought tube TV. It's a fun show, and it's definitely a fun event to just get into the season of conventions, basically.
Now, were you guys vendors at this show, or did you guys walk around?
Yeah. No, we did it last year, and last year we sold something like 420 VHS tapes, and among other movies we had to begin with to help fund GrossFest. And Kevin, who does also the Living Dead Festival, is the one that runs it. And he was like, Ian's going to come back. And I was like, of course. And this year I brought a bunch of toy figures, all horror stuff, just a bunch of other stuff, some selling like Spookies VHS tapes, Frankenhooker, Just some stuff people haven't seen us bring out. Like we try to make sure we bring stuff. Let alone no one got to see it, but I brought a bunch of game systems, horror video games, and I was selling those even before we even started the show.
Yeah, those are hot right now. Video game systems. Oh Lord.
Yeah,
Man, anything you got
and
that
get rid of
works.
them.
Anything you got that works, people want it.
Yep. Yeah, no, and that was the whole point, because it was just like I told people, it was like I looked up, like, because a couple of the systems I had like 6 systems and 2 of them didn't have power cords. And I looked up on Amazon, I was like, literally $10 to $12 you could get the power cord.
Nice.
I was like, so why wouldn't you get this?
Right. And did you set up your table and did you set up your table and then play games while people were walking by?
We didn't play games, but we had fun with everyone that came out, because it was a lot of fun. Met a lot of people who've been wanting to come to GrossFest. We met one guy that actually came back to the table a few times to grab more flyers to give out to people. He was doing better than us at the show. He was giving people flyers. He would leave and come back and ask for more.
That's the kind of support. See, that's the kind of goodwill that you guys have worked very hard to establish, and you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
That does not surprise me that would actually would happen.
Yeah, and we keep it old school to begin with. Just like I've been getting flyers out in different businesses around town over the past month and a half now. Just trying to post stuff. Went through the 2-week period of really posting something every day about GrossFest. So
yeah, I watched it. I was watching, because last year you were when you said that you guys start planning the show the day after, and I was watching you guys on through GrossFest, and pretty soon you were saying we got our first guest, and I'm like, the show just ended, and they already are working on they're already starting to book next year's show.
Yeah, we're already working on 2027.
Yeah.
We got to stay ahead of the curve.
That's right. John, there you go, buddy.
Most likely it'll probably fall on July 30th and July 31st, most likely.
Okay.
So 2027.
So we will put that down when we talk about this. I will put that down in the description box. And of course, your Facebook group is also probably the best place of all to go and see what's coming on at GrossFest.
Oh yeah, because it's not just GrossFest. I think people are catching on. We want it to be part of the independent community. Like, have people be just, hey, you got an event coming up, you're showing a movie at a theater, you're in Kansas, who cares? Post it on there. We want to know. Other people want to know, because it's not just people around the Pittsburgh area that are on that group. There is lots of people from all over the U.S. and a few Canadians that are on the group. So
yeah, you guys have been a tremendous friend of the show here, and on just my content and in general. I cannot thank you enough for that. Though I probably did come in with a slightly hot potato this week, but
yeah,
I'm sure you probably got some people asking you about it, like, what's that?
We were just talking about it, because I was just like, I don't get it. I mean, the description of that movie, what you thought of it and what I thought of it are two different things, but we're on the same track. But just, I like I said to my brother, I was like, the movie doesn't have a plot. It's like,
no.
It's like, that's my biggest problem with it. But also too, it is nowhere near as bad as Amityville Mount Misery Road.
Okay, I've heard about, people keep on saying about that show. I have that movie. Oh shoot!
It is terrible.
Man, that's gonna be. Oh, that's gonna be tough. I mean, it's not. I said, he's challenging for the shittiest director title. Yeah. That's still is owned by Dustin Ferguson. I'm sorry.
Well, dude, you're not going to get many arguments out of anybody on our group page and most of the people I know to begin with, just for the mere reason, outside of the select few that follow Ferguson, the bigger thing is he's just rubbed everybody wrong. What was it? Is it Giant Hornets versus Angry? It's Angry Hornets,
Ebola, like Ebola bird, or
yeah, Murder Hornets versus T-Rex. And my biggest problem was it runs 56 minutes long, and the Hornets never fight the dinosaur.
I love the fact that I love how he runs his credits twice.
Yes, he is. It's a Dustin Ferguson movie when the credits are 10 minutes long on both ends. And the movie is only 60 minutes long.
Yes. As far as not having a plot, this is, to me, I was just ranting a little bit about this. I just feel like, whether you're indie or you're a major studio project, I just feel like, here's a great example. Here's a freaking great example. You want to talk about an indie director, and he's busted his butt. That guy who did Boss Villa does not bust his ass doing nothing. Someone who busts his ass doing something is Todd Sheets. Now you take that guy, and that guy has an army around him. That guy is so well respected and so loved because he works his ass off. That's someone he works his ass off, and you see the people support him. I saw Bone Hill Road. Before I watched Bone Hill Road, I watched a documentary about the making of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was so impressed. I mean, I swear he could stand. He could be on top of a cliff, tell them to jump, and they would sit there and say how high before they did it, because they respect him and they know that he's got their best interest at heart, and he cares about them. He cares about his crew.
Yeah,
that is a well-respected director. Indie, super indie, if you will.
Yeah.
This guy,
he's been that for 40 years now.
Yes.
And I was going to say Bone Hill Road is one of my go-to werewolf arguments constantly, even though it's independent. I always say he took a chance where he literally had a werewolf on two legs come walking into 100% light in the kitchen, and didn't do it just once, did it twice, and it looked wonderful, and he should be celebrated for that. It's a great different werewolf movie, because the biggest problem with werewolf movies, half of the time you're watching it and you're waiting for the werewolf and it looks like total ass, and it's like, well, what's the point of staying in this?
Right. Now, it's funny. It's like when I watched Bone Hill Road, now it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but I did like the practical effects. I loved the practical effects, and I love the fact that people went to bat for him. Like he took care of them, and they definitely, and Todd took care of them, and he, they took care of Todd. And
I was going to say, Todd always uses what money he has, which isn't much sometimes, but he's proven he doesn't need a lot in order to do what he needs to put out there. And it's no different even with his newest film, Wolf Moon Rising, which is a space werewolf movie kind of thing.
Hey, you know what? You got eventually, you're gonna, if you're gonna be doing horror for any length of time, you got to know you're gonna be going to space sometime, in during your career. No matter who you are, you're going to go into space. That was really my point. When I was talking about indie films, because we all have our different opinions about what exactly is an indie film. And I don't really necessarily think the money aspect of it really matters, because look at Brett Kelly. Brett Kelly made one of the funnest. God, I can't believe I actually say this, but it's true. Brett Kelly made one of the silliest movies ever for $215.
Was that
That movie,
Nano Shark?
yeah, Wheezy Shark.
Oh, I was saying Nano Shark because I know Nano Shark was Brett Kelly movie.
Yeah, did it? Brett, I could not believe it when I heard that when he made it for $215
It doesn't
Canadian.
surprise me. It
That
doesn't.
you know what
surprise
though, yeah, it went for it's funny too because it went from like when I watched it, I'm like, it was funny because when I got that movie and I watched it, and all of a sudden it says Scott Patrick directed it, but I'm watching this movie and going like, you know what? I'm going to myself going like, you know what? You probably have watched one too many of his movies because now you're recognizing his style. And I'm sitting there going like, man, this seems like a Brett Kelly movie. And I'm
Yeah.
so sure, you know. I saw it. I'm like giving the guy from Wild. I give him a hard time about it. Going like, man, you got me good. You know, yeah, you tricked my ass. But I ended up, you know, I was like, okay, I gotta dig this movie for what it is. You know, it just grew on me and became just a really fun movie. And more importantly, is he didn't exploit his cast.
Yeah.
There's no nudity in that movie.
Believe me, that is, you could have a whole show on that by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody has varying opinions. Everybody has different feelings on it. It's a hard subject to tackle just because you are going to immediately piss off somebody. Just whether it's wrong or right, it doesn't even matter. You're going to piss somebody off as soon as you say something about it.
If it's for the story, you know, like if it fits the story, like I'll tell you, because you know, I'll tell you a scene where graphic nudity, but it was part of the story, and it's an older movie, but if you go back and look at it, you're going like, in one hand you're going like, man, that's a lot of nudity, but then again, you think about it, going like, but I can see what he was doing with it. You know, there's part of the story.
Yeah.
Look at the Devil's Advocate with Connie Nielsen, who was a big star, but she went and got full nude for the end because the devil wanted to with Keanu Reeves and whatnot. But it fits the story. It wasn't just there to to be exploited. There was a reason for that, and I'm not a prude. So I mean, if you got a reason to show nudity in there, then fine, have a reason for it. But just to make a $5 movie and then put two good actresses out there to do that, that's just wrong for me. I'm just like, wow, that's just not my. That's just not my.
Yeah, most of the time I just chalk it up to you never know what was said behind the scenes.
Yes,
we're not there. Who knows what was offered money-wise? Who knows?
Money-wise, I can't even imagine how little they got. But yeah, you're right.
I'm not going to argue on that. It just, I always, like I said, I've said it in the past. Boobs and ass is great. Impress me, show a dong, but besides that, it's like, yeah, you want to impress people, make a scary movie without nudity, or it's the old late 80s thing. Don't use it as a crutch. Don't use it to hold up the movie is the only thing is what got the movie sold in the first place.
Exactly. And see, that's a pattern that this director has. It'd be one thing if it comes out, next movie comes out with, and he comes out there with Blazing, and he comes out there without doing that, but he still comes out, and next thing you know, he puts out a pretty halfway decent movie. Well, you know what? I'll give him praise then. I'll say, hey, you managed to do it, without the exploitation part. Exploitation is one thing, but but I just look at directors as I like to see them grow.
Yeah.
I like to see them grow. Like you have your favorite directors. Like, okay, would you want to see the same, to see the same thing from the same director over and over and over? No, you want to see something fun, something different, something crazy. That's how I look at it. As far as directors go, like I'll follow a director because I want to see what they're going to do. Right now, probably my favorite director in that regard is probably Michael Cassie and Ashleen Clark. Those two are just fantastic directors. I like to see what they're doing. They're always doing something new and different. Jeff Kirkendall.
Yes.
Jeff Kirkendall has really stepped up his game. I mean, that guy went from being I mean, that guy I trust him behind the camera to bring me a good story.
It's funny because even the newer stuff he's doing right now made me go out and either buy his very first couple of movies he ever directed, he was a part of. It showed he knows what he was doing. Now, you know, being in the Mark Polonia crew and everything else, I think he's not worried about his directing, but now I think it's opened up some doors for him to come back and do some projects that maybe don't fit the bill of a Mark Polonia or Tim Hatch, even because he even has you can watching Kirkendall's movie and watching Mark Polonia movie. It's watching two different things.
It is.
They have very different styles.
Yes. Yes, you definitely see that. I was talking with Madame Cadaver from her group, and we were talking about one of the movies that Mark had made, and you know, we're talking about the difference between the two, and I said, you know, you can see I'm not, you know, it's no disrespect to Mark Polonia. I think that sometimes he, you know, he's been doing it for so long that I don't know how much fire is in the belly, you know.
I think some is there. I'm not going to say all of it, but Mark and I had a conversation after GrossFest, and he let me in on a few things that I thought was true. And yeah, it's not always about that. That is the one thing about some of the independent filmmakers some people don't know. Some of these guys and girls, they're getting, once they're established, you have like a Wild Eye that's now getting on Tubi on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It's no different than it was back in the 80s, early 90s, like the cable channels looking for content. Some of these free streaming are looking for content. So like a Ron Bonk or a Wild Eye, you know, Ron Bonk runs SRS Cinema. They will pay a certain amount of money to a filmmaker to finish a certain project in said 4 to 7 days and have it out there. So yes, it might not look like their heart is into it, but also too, they're not completely calling the shots. It is Hollywood on a very, very, very small level sometimes. You have producers and other people you're answering to now.
Yeah.
It isn't, you know what I'm saying? Like an example, maybe like a Feeders 3, more of a recent movie from Mark Polonia and crew. That's one of his original projects. He doesn't have to answer to somebody other than himself, if that makes sense.
Right.
So yeah, there is some other things that we would like to think, oh, that doesn't happen. It does. It just, sometimes it's a job. Best example is maybe Steve Rudinsky telling me about Shingles, the movie. He didn't regret making it, but he was paid a certain amount of money to come in, direct the movie, get it at a certain budget, and get it done in a certain time frame.
Right.
Would he do some things differently with the project if it was his, like truly his? Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I saw Darren Lynn Bowsman did that once. He did a commentary, and you know, he was a hired gun. You know, that's how he called himself, hired gun. And he went in there and he tried to, you know, he says, I went to the producers. I tried to give him some advice and some, you know, this is a guy who's made millions of dollars for people for the movies he's made. And he went to the director, says, you know, to the producer, says, you know, I got a few suggestions if you'd like to hear it. I can give you some notes. And they were like, no, we got you. We got it. I'm going like, Why would anybody do that? Why would anybody hire somebody on the level of Darren Lynn Bousman and then not listen to what he has to say? That's just like, wow, that's just like blowing your foot off, you know? You got a chance to, you have a chance that you're making a film, you have a chance to make a really good film because his track record is really good. But you're sitting there saying that you can do this better by yourself. You don't need his input. And you look at it and you're going like, wow, that's just, and then you watch the finished product and you're going like, you should have listened to him. You're sitting there going like, you should have listened, and not been so arrogant about it.
Yeah.
But Jeff is he's just really blossomed. I'm very excited to see the new movies that he's coming out with. And I totally get the time frame period. I mean, even I had a friend of mine who directed a Hallmark movie. I'm not even kidding you. She was talking about the first week of the month. Okay, we're getting ready to shoot, and our premiere date is a month and a month, about a month and a half. A month and a half.
Yep.
Starting to shoot, hitting the channel, a month and a half. That's insanity. I'm just like, how? Yeah, it's as fast as, I mean, I guess those old-fashioned days of, well, we shot this, it took us 6 months to do. I guess that's just gone now.
No, it's not. There's still a lot of filmmakers that take their good old time and shoot movies in a certain way, and like even Steve Rudinsky talks about like sometimes his shoots are 10 days or 14 days long, but
Right.
just the way he plans it, edits, and does that. It's no different with Sean Donahue. He'll shoot for 6 days, but it might take editing, getting music. That might take 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
And talking to these people, it really, some of them can churn them out, and then others, they want to make sure they work on that one project, get it finished before they move on to the next one.
And so, what I exactly. And it's, and part of it too, to me, as far as the director goes too, and I mentioned was, I think of a director's responsibility as one to get better. It's like,
yes,
get better at your craft. Every movie comes out should be a little bit better because you're learning from what you did before, right? And the other thing I feel is a director should protect his talent. I really strongly feel that, like, hey, they're coming out here, they're trusting you to make them look good, have a coherent story, and that's what they're looking for.
It's better than it used to be. Let's put it that way. I used to hear horror stories 10, 15, 20 years ago from different actors and everything.
I'm really excited for your list, for your guest list this year. This year is it's top drawer. You got Todd Sheets coming in.
Yep.
And you brought back Jen Nagel, Malvolia, yes. The Queen of Screams. Fantastic choice. Love her to death. She is a hard worker.
She is.
Mm-hmm.
She is.
How often do you mention that when you book the guest? Do you mention that, okay, we're going to have you come in and have a table for you, but do you ever ask them to promote the show, or do they ever come to you and sit there and say, how can I help you have a more successful show? Or is it just like, okay, you're coming in, for your date, and we got your table for? Do the talent people, do they come up there and ask you what they can do to make your event a bigger success?
Most of them promote on their own,
yeah,
without us even asking.
Yes,
whether whether they have a website or they just post it on their social media, their Instagram or Facebook, what have you. But yeah, most of them just automatically will promote for us.
That's got to be a tremendous relief. Well, too, because you got to remember, and not to mention like the other shows or anything like that, we're not a huge show. We're not charging people autographs and all the other extra stuff. So we're taking care of the guest as best we can. If
Oh,
the
yeah.
guest would like to make said money, promote the show, because that means more people are going to come see you, buy your movies, especially people that don't never met you, never thought they could meet you. And like using Mark Polonia as a good example, there was other guests that were going up the mark and just, I never thought I would meet you, and they would buy just the most rando Mark Polonia movies off of them.
You know what's really funny is that you do this. Now this shows you the power of GrossFest. The power of GrossFest is manifested in the fact that you got Mark Polonia, who's notorious for not doing press. I mean, he's not, you know, and Todd Sheets, who he does not like the camera. He does not like. That's why I said to you guys, I'm gonna be curious to see how many pictures you get with yourselves with Todd Sheets. I want to see that, because that's gonna be like the big event of this year. Is like how many videos of Todd will there be
Well,
coming
I
out of
will say
GrossFest?
this: last October, Todd come looking for us at Cinema Wasteland. It wasn't us looking for Todd. Todd come looking for us.
Yeah, because he knew you guys would be there all bright and shiny saying hi. I think it's really I don't know, maybe stage fright, maybe it could be for him, you know, as far as talking to the press. Same thing with Mark. I mean, it could be one of those things. It's funny. You don't really think about it.
It could be just their personality in general. I mean,
Yeah.
Everybody. That's why I always say to people, it's like, yeah, I have no problem doing it, but that doesn't mean everybody else, you know, does. And that's why we'll even try to people that maybe don't speak as well, or don't like to be loud, or don't like to promote as much. That's why, again, the GrossFest page, that's an extension of what we do, or help promote people, even if they're not part of the convention. They're friends. They're people that might be a guest at some point. Who knows? You just never know.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so great. I can't wait for you guys for that. I'm just so happy for you guys. Got someone like Todd, and you got Angel Nicole Bradford and Morgan
Millum.
Those two are like Wonder Twins. I have friends who are Wonder Twins, but they're a close second. Very talented young ladies.
I was going to say, honestly, those two intrigue me in very, very different ways. Angel's on the cusp. She got her stunt card. I can easily see her. Literally can easily see her going the way of Tiffany Shepis, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like she's on that level of possibly going that route, which, hey, you never know. And then Morgan, not even the acting, but her directing, watching Martian Girl Massacre in the
Wasn't that awesome?
In Amityville Aliens. And like I said to her, is it the best movie? No, it's not. No one's first movie is that good. Have I seen a few close ones? Yes. But no one's movie is perfect. The biggest deal out of that movie, and I told her, I've even messaged her, I said, you're holding out on us. You like, don't miss the boat on this.
Yes.
I have a feeling she has a lot to offer as a director, a writer. I'm very curious what she's going to do in that.
I think she has the chops to do the acting too. I mean, if you go back to that,
I'm not saying she doesn't. I'm just saying I think she can bring some stuff to the table.
I think
that
so
will
too.
Get independent film fans excited.
I was just watching when I was watching Watzilla, and it was really interesting. I'm sitting there, and also with Debbie Does Demons.
Yes.
I was just watching her, and she comes out with. She's got a great speaking voice.
Yes.
Very good. And you could tell that she's done her. She's got a script. It's not improvised. It's a script, and she's following it, and it sounds great. I mean, you just know that it's she's got it. And I love Angel too. Angel has one of my very favorite stories I've ever heard on this show. When we interviewed her, is when she got asked. She was a makeup artist, and she got asked. One of the actresses dropped out, so she was making. They asked her to come in and take the place of it, and she had to make a head for for a stunt, and it was hers. She had to make her own. She had to make her own head because it was gonna. Her character was gonna get her have her head kicked in, so she got to make the model head of her that she was gonna use to have her die a terrible death. I thought it's like the way she was just talking about, like I basically made myself gonna get killed. I just thought that was one of the coolest stories ever. It's like how strange is that? Movies are wacky. But yeah, I can see that too. Tiffany Shepis, she's had a really great career too.
She has, and people kind of forget. She was independent also. She was literally, her ground floor is trauma as a teenager. So yeah, and that's why I said I could see easily Angel taking those progressive steps and getting much higher. Like I mean, literally, what was it? Tiffany Shepis did a Star Trek show 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, they were thinking about if they would have went through with that with the new Star Trek afterwards, the one where Jerry Ryan was going to be the captain, she was going to be on there. She was going to make that show as a regular. She was going to be the Doctor, and everybody even today they're crushing Fleet Academy or Starship Academy. They're crushing that. No, everybody hates that. And people are still sitting there going like, why didn't you listen to the fans and give us what we really wanted? And that was just a continuation of the Star Trek from Voyager, Deep Space Nine. I mean, why didn't you continue that from Picard? And
here's the thing, and this ties into what we were talking about earlier about producers or somebody paying to have certain projects done. Just Hollywood's full of people that think they're smarter than everyone else. And we're not even talking about the filmmakers. We're talking about a lot of other people that make calls about movies that know nothing about movies.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a reason, not to get too long into this, there's a reason John Carpenter basically quit and retired. There's a reason George Romero stayed independent all those years. There's a reason we really don't have, like, outside of Guillermo del Toro, you don't have that name, that like filmmaker that everybody gravitates towards, that like you can't wait until they bring their next project out. Like, I mean, some might say Ty West or James Wan, but I think legitimately there isn't that director any longer.
No, I mean, and the thing is that when they do find a good director like that, I mean, hats off to Oz Perkins. I don't think every movie he's released since Black Coat's Daughter has done that one. Like, I didn't like Longlegs very much, but I did love Black Coat's Daughter, and I like the fact that he has pretty much stayed on his own. Stayed on his own.
I was gonna say, I think that's the brilliance behind Oz Perkins right now. Just like Rob Zombie before Rob Zombie lost his mind and made 31. You name the person and you will literally get an extreme reaction one way or the other from horror movie fans, like really diehard horror movie fans. Like, you talk about Rob Zombie and you'll either get them to celebrate House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, the Witch movie, like El Super Beasto. They will live and die with them. And then you can say the same thing to somebody else and they'll be like, well, you should have never made the third House of a Thousand Corpses movie. Yeah. You should have never made
right.
that, or you shouldn't have done the Halloween remake, or you should there's always like to have that extreme. I think that's what you have to go for nowadays in order to stand out. And Oz Perkins, it's one of those things. Like you said, you don't like long legs. I loved long legs, but also too, there was something else I seen from Oz Perkins and it was just like, okay. But I know other people love it, and to get that extreme reaction, I think you've done something.
Well, the only thing I was really happy for Oz Perkins, and what I was really happy about was the fact that after Black Coat, or even after The Monkey, that was his biggest movie so far. I think The Monkey was. The fact is that he stayed the course. He still stayed independent. Like the guy who made Weapons, well, guess what he got tapped to make next? Resident Evil. Oh Lord! As soon as you hear that announcement, you just go like, "Why? Why are you giving up? Why are you giving up your freedom for this? Because all it takes is just one bad misstep. I mean, look at Josh Trank. It's like all it takes is Keith Thomas.
The whole Resident Evil franchise is one big misstep.
And they
asked the only time they actually got it right was one of the most recent projects, Welcome to Raccoon City, that no one wants to talk about.
Was that the animated one?
No, the animated ones are great. They're done by like animators in Japan and stuff like that, and it's who knows who's directing it. They're great, but the live action stuff is all hot garbage until you get to Welcome to Raccoon City, and you could literally tell it was somebody that actually played the games, loved the games, actually was there, knew what they were doing.
I didn't mind the first two. I thought the first one with the laser. That was fucking brilliant.
Nope. If you want to talk, it was a good action film for PG-13 crap. Sure.
That laser, that wasn't enough.
Sorry,
And the guy goes, "Oh shit!" And then he gets chopped into chunks.
Here's the biggest problem. I think I want to pronounce this filmmaker's name correctly. Brandon Salisbury, I think, is the guy that did the documentary about Resident Evil in the Romero version. He is correct. That first movie is hot garbage, and the studio should be embarrassed. That had nothing to do with the game.
I never played the game, so I take your word for it. I never played the game, but when I watched that,
you don't even have to play the game. Go watch that documentary. It explains a lot of different things that I already knew, but it puts it out there for horror fans that really didn't know what was exactly going on there, because George Romero was supposed to direct it.
Why did that not happen for him? Because of Land of the Dead?
Basically, the studio wanted to call the shots, and he wanted to make it literally bloody and make it wonderful and push the R rating, where the studio was like, hey, we want the 12-year-olds that play PlayStation 2 to come watch this. And
I think it was rated R, wasn't it, when it came out?
No, it wasn't, sir. That's what everybody forgets. It wasn't rated R. Even when it came out on DVD, and I think even a VHS, it wasn't rated R then. It took it 2 years to have an uncut version, which I'd wipe my ass with, because it still wasn't R rated. It is caca. It is hot garbage. It is called what happens when you have too much money for a movie. Because too many people...
It does happen.
Yeah, too many people were calling the shots. They thought they knew what was right. And the other problem is, it wasn't made for Americans. It was trying to be an overseas thing. And the later sequels, that was the only place where they were getting their money, is in Asia for those movies. They weren't made for us.
Wow, because I know Mila Jovovich was a big international star. I mean,
Yes, but it helps
yeah.
though too that she was with the guy directing all the movies.
Yeah, that's true. She married the guy.
Yes. Something I like to point out that no one wants to talk about.
Does it seem to, when when you watch this, you get, because you hear from a lot of horror fans. You must hear from, I mean, through the group, through your DMs or whatever, you must hear just a lot of people come to you and offer you their 2 cents about what's going on in the world of horror. What is going on in the world of horror? What is your sense? I only feel like there's 2 franchises right now that are worth a damn, and that's probably Predator and Alien. The rest of them are just like, they're just all over the place. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
The weird thing about what you just said is, fun fact, Disney owns both of them now. Yeah. And as I always like to say, Disney likes money. Yeah. And for whatever godforsaken reason besides Ridley Scott, everyone understood that Aliens in Predator universe do go together. And that's very obvious in Alien Romulus, besides Badlands, but also in Alien Earth. It is the one thing finally now out of 20th Century Fox's hands that Disney's like, hey, these things should go together. And that's why they do it. But outside of that stuff, I think actually right now, and not even trying to toot our horn, but independent horror is where the most fun is, I think, for exciting horror movies in general. Like, again, you get one extreme or the other. And yeah you're going to get some bad ones. You're going to get some terrible ones. But the beauty
of you can get some good ones.
Yeah. When you come across
Dangerous Animals and Good Boy.
Yes. Yeah. When you get these just oddball ones you never heard of and you watch it, it sticks with you. And that's what's great. Yes. Like GrossFest, we get some of these indie horror film. You just never know. Like, you never know what's going to happen.
How did that's I love that. I love that because that gives me a good question to ask you. Is now we talked about how you guys start planning the day after the day after the show closes. How did you go about picking your lineup for this year? What was the motivation, and how long did it take you two to come together and like, who do we want to get? Who will be good here? Who should we bring back, or who should we make wait a year?
That's too much inside information.
I'm asking the tough questions here, mister. Tell us everything.
We both sit down. We each make a list of people we'd like to have, and then we'll get together and compare lists and say,
believe me, there's even a list I keep of just names we threw out 6, 7, 8 years ago, and I keep them on the list, and we keep track. It's one of those things. It's a learning process because we're doing it our own way, but also too, depending who you're going to ask or who you want there, that starts to form the other guests you want to try to get. And then sometimes there's ones that just fall in your lap when you're not looking, and you take full advantage of it and run with it.
Yeah, your lineup this year is stacked. I want to know one thing too. Who wrote the press release this year on the website?
Probably he did.
Yeah, it's probably me. I do a lot of the writing and everything else for it.
It's great. I when I went and saw it, when I looked at it, I'm going like, Jesus Christ, this is awesome. This is well done. I want to know I said, who wrote this? I want to see which one wrote it.
It's great. Believe me, it's nothing like my reviews, which are just hot garbage, and I've been writing for over 20 years. But no, it just a lot of times, if it makes sense, writing stuff for all the guests and how we do stuff for GrossFest and just the press releases. For me, it touches upon when I was constantly writing stories, scripts, things like that, when I was writing books on a regular basis. That taps into that for me. And I just have fun with it. And also, too, a lot of times there is some kind of history, or I know something about it just form the words for it a lot of times. It's just fun. It's fun to write that stuff, if that makes sense.
And it helps when you're a fan.
It's absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. I was going to say, like what he said, it helps when you're a fan of some of these people too.
Oh, yes. Doesn't it?
You know, and trying to get other people excited about it and things of that nature. And yeah, and Jen Nagel is a perfect example of someone earning my respect instantly, not from meeting her in person. I was one of the first people who got to watch her movie Body Count. Way before it got released. She brought it to GrossFest. I watched it, and I literally admitted to her face. I was like, I thought you were a bootleg version of Elvira. And she's like, okay. And I was like, then I watched your movie. I was like, it is almost near perfect. You did. It was like, and I even for 5 minutes in front of her mother also at the same time, which was hilarious. I explained all the things she was doing in it because it wasn't just directing. It wasn't just writing. Even some of the guest spots she had in it, and I was even asking her, is like, that wasn't planned, was it? And she's like, no, it wasn't. She's like, you really picked up on the little things. And I said, yeah. And I said, and literally said to her, I was like, don't stop making movies. No. Not in the sense of acting. I was like, all the other stuff, behind the scenes stuff. She impressed me in how she was able to put together everything in doing the several roles. I compared her to John Saxon of Zombie Death House. And she asked me why, and I explained, and I even told her the story of me meeting John Saxon, which we'll leave that out. But it is the whole point. He felt so passionate about a project that he did everything for that project to get it out there. Is it good? I think it's wonderful. Other people think it's hot garbage, but it doesn't matter. It's the point that she went not just the extra mile. She went beyond that to make sure this gets out there, gets finished, gets music composed to it. She had a hand in every little aspect of that movie. And I said, you should be proud of what you did. If you never do anything else the rest of your life. It's like, you made me a believer of this movie, of not just the movie, but her. It was like, you changed my mind.
She's fantastic.
And apparently she was blown away about it. And she was like, that is the furthest thing I ever thought I would hear from like you about this. And I was like, no, I was like, you should do more things like this. I'm like, you know what you're doing. I like you being a hands-on person behind the scenes, if that makes sense. It's like it shows.
I think, man, I really respect her too. And I won't go on camera with this. I'll tell you afterwards, but I think she's very talented. And and I love her character. I love the character. I you know, it's funny. It's like, I actually never saw Mavoya as the Elvira type. I just didn't. I saw them as totally distinctively different. and I'm glad that she's continuing to to produce. She's still doing the horror host thing, and I think
Yeah.
she's excellent at doing that. And I'm really glad to see you guys have her come back. I guess she was a big hit with the first time she was here, and so having her come back is just it's just frosting on the cake. We got the two girls. We got Angel and Morgan. Brad. You have another lady here, Melissa Sampasia. Oh, I know I
Yes.
killed her name. Yeah, I've had her on the show too.
Yes, she's an interesting character who I think is just we wanted her to be a guest. She's a big supporter of GrossFest, but again, a personality just unique enough that she fits what we look, giving somebody a chance, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And that's what I think she deserves. She deserves to be a guest.
Yeah, she's very talented.
Yeah, and I think she's just starting what she's doing, and it's no different in Carly also.
Is that really the big hook for you guys doing GrossFest? I look at it the same way here when I do this show here, is if you had a chance to talk to a big star, right? Let's say, I don't know, pick your biggest star, or a chance to do a lineup like you have for GrossFest. Who would you go see? I'm sorry, but Brad Pitt, you're great. You did, World War Z, whatever, I'd rather go to GrossFest. I want to see the fresh faces coming up. That's what excites me.
Oh,
yeah.
Exactly. Unless Brad Pitt wants to talk cutting class with me, then we can talk about it. Like, then we can have a conversation. But no, it's cool to see who's coming, or like you mentioned, a Todd Sheets, who's been there for 40 years. Even Steve Rudinsky, who's now been doing it for like 20. Just these people, but also newer ones, and just Jen is just all over the place in doing things. And then you have Angel with her stunt card and possibility like be too big for any of these conventions, let's be honest. And just some of the other people we're going to have there. Yeah, you just never know. But also too, like you were saying, what would you want to do? I mean, I've done it all. It's like when I go meet guests, like I've had dinner with R.A. Mahelhoff, who was Leatherface of Leatherface 3. And then let's just say, on the other end of the spectrum, literally threat David Naughton's life once to throw chairs at him. So take your pick.
I rather just, I don't know. I just rather, yeah, I'm with you. I hear you about the part about, like I've talked to a couple of people like that. Like, it was really great having you on the show. Won't be seeing you again. And I haven't, because they've just gone on to bigger and better things. And I'm very happy for that. That just, that's really awesome for me. To say that. And I really hope I hope we both can say that with Angel and Morgan, because I think they deserve it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I would love to see Steve Rudinsky. I mean, someone should, some label or some studio should go over there and give that guy a $20 million budget and leave him the hell alone. Because I know he would come up with some magic.
I don't think it's gonna happen. If it makes sense with Steve and Aline, I think those guys, those two kids, thrive on being themselves and thrive on their own talents and how they could help each other, because what they are doing is quite amazing and quite cool. And
they do have total control.
Yeah. And that's one of those things you got to ask yourself. Do you want the money or do you want the control?
Yeah. See, I think a lot of directors make that, first time directors, I think they make that mistake. They come out with a successful first movie, and then next thing you know, they're pulled out of their comfort zone. They give some studio will come out there and say, yeah, I want you to direct this next movie, and next thing you know, they're coming out and they come out and they get overwhelmed by it, bad negative reviews or what have you, and next thing you know, it's directors. It's weird when you watch them, when you review some of these movies, and you'll see a named director and you go like, man, what else did that guy do? And then you go and look at his IMDb and it's like, wow, how come it took him 12 years to do another movie? What was he doing? I tell you what he was doing. He was waiting to get the phone call.
Yeah,
That's what he was doing.
Or you could just be like a Brad Twigg who just pushes through, whether people like the movies or not. And he's made a few fun ones, and he just keeps on going. He has the passion for it.
I don't think I've seen any of his movies yet. I plan to, though. After I saw him being a guest at your show, I saw that and I'm like, okay, well, if he's good enough to be on GrossFest, he's somebody I need to look up and take a look at his movie.
Yeah, definitely. I would point out Killer Camp Out 2 and Wrestle Massacre.
Oh, he did Wrestle Massacre.
Yes.
Oh, I know that one. I reviewed that one.
Yeah, and I was going to say, just in the past year or so, he's gotten a bunch of movies shown up on Tubi and Fossum.
Yeah, okay. Wrestle Massacre was interesting.
Yeah,
he used a lot of real wrestlers in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, because the cover has the bootleg Killer Brody on it.
Right. That's right. Yeah, that was actually pretty fun. I didn't know what to expect from that. When I got it through the mail, Wild Eye sent it to me before I made Rob mad. I don't know how I did it. Probably because I didn't like Mummy or Mummy Shark or something like that.
Mummy Shark was wonderfully terrible.
It's funny. It's funny because it was funny because I heard it. I saw the preview for it, and so I wrote to him. I says, "Hey, do you think I can get a copy of a Mummy Shark?" And he goes, "No, because all you're gonna do is just crap on it." And, I said, "I don't know that. I haven't seen it yet." He goes, I'm
telling you right now, the DVD is literally in a picture frame in my dining room with all their signatures and Best Bites cheeseburger boxes inside the frame and everything. They signed.
That's awesome. I and someone actually I said, yeah, I got denied. And they said, oh, here, well, I can help you out. So they sent me a copy of it, and I watched it, and I'm going through halfway through and going like, Rob, you're right. But it had Joe Wincoop in it, so I was like, okay, this guy's crazy. But
yeah, he is. He's a character.
But yeah, I was like, okay, no one's gonna yeah. I didn't know what to make of it when I saw it. I thought this is one of the fun. I'm not sure whether I just like they made the mummy out of toilet paper, and I just lost my shit.
Don't mock it. I seen a movie once by the great Henrik Kyoto, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, called Mummy Sleepover Massacre. He got upset with me because before he found the original file for this movie, somebody came up to me at a convention and gave me a copy of this movie. And this movie he made when he was 15 years old, and literally went up to him and said, hey, can you sign this? And he asked me, where in the F did you find the movie? And I was like, literally some dude just gave me the movie. And and the mummy is made out of toilet paper.
Oh, hi, Cindy. How are you? Come on in. So how do you do? Because you have films that you run during Film Fest, right?
Yes.
You have them. So how do you pick those movies? I probably asked you this before, but now it's a little bit. The question has a little bit more heft to it. How do you decide which movies to show to the public? I mean, what do you have a criteria other than it being not a Dustin Ferguson movie?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that's they can't suck, but no, honestly, too though, having a physical copy of the movie is actually, you would be surprised, sometimes harder than it is, than it should be, because a lot of these filmmakers or independent people, a lot of their stuff is just on the computer being sent to ABC distributions or being placed on Tubi or Fossum just because they believe physical media doesn't sell, which I hate to break the news to them, it does. But that's the first thing. But the other thing is just, too, we're always looking for something different. And like, I will only mention a couple of movies that we're going to be playing, but one of the movies is Lean Isley's I Scream, a Minty musical, is going to be playing there.
Okay.
Which is just, it's wonderful. It's hilarious. It's weird. And I love stuff like that. We were already talking about it. Late Friday night is probably going to be Orgy of the Dead 2 from Andrew Chambers. It's stars Jessa Flux, and it is a love letter. It's a remake, but a love letter to a movie of the same name from the early 60s. It's an obscure title. I went back and watched it. This guy did a wonderful job. I respect it. Can it be shown like at 5:00 on a Friday? No, it can't. That's going to probably be a 10:00 Friday night movie, kind of thing. But those are, we're always looking for different stuff that Brad Twigg, we're going to have Brad Twigg's Cracula there, which you got me with the title. I'm interested.
Yeah.
Period. I'm interested. Some of the other movies that come through that I've already watched, if I'm working on trying to get the physical copies because they're legitimately not out there in distribution yet.
Yeah.
Because we always have a few premieres, and I've watched them already and like, yeah, please send me this movie. And they're still in the process of editing or just getting the movie set up for, for other means of however they're going to sell it to a distributor. And I'm like, well, if you want the movie to play, you got to send us a physical copy. It's not so much I'm trying to get a free copy of your movie. Doesn't hurt.
Right.
But the whole point is I want it in my hand. So
yeah, I get screamers too. I tell them, this, I don't want to take your press copy. I don't need your press copy. You could just burn me a copy.
Yes, and that's the whole point. Just trying to get that at times is pulling teeth.
And it's not like we're charging to show your movie.
Yes,
either.
That's the other thing. Because we'll still get asked that.
Right. It's only costing you a movie.
Yeah, it's costing you a DVD R or a Blu-ray R and shipping it to my house. Period. Yeah.
I get, like right now I'm watching a movie on a good one too. The R.I.P. Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't gotten to those.
Not bad. That kid's he's got skills. Jimmy Langford. He's got skills.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to those yet.
Jangerland. I think it's Jangerland. I'm probably killing his name. I kill everybody's name. But I watched his first film that he did called The Cellar last year. Okay. And it was very good. And you could definitely see the promise there. And then he came up with this one here, and I'm watching the first 20 minutes of it, and I'm going like, this is great.
Yeah, and I was going to even say, fun fact, never even watched the first one. I believe they're kickstarting the second one, and we have thrown it up on the GrossFest page a few times. Nice.
Unique killer. That killer is I've never seen that before, and it's a real condition. And I was like, holy crap, that's a great idea. And I even like the mouthpiece in it. I thought this is really original. It's an original slasher. and I'm hooked. So I'm actually going to be finishing it. But if he wasn't in the UK, I would be telling him to send me a copy. I want a hard copy of this, but he's in the UK, and I'm not going to ask him to spend the money to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. It costs so much money to do. It's ridiculous to even think about it. So $15 this year for both days. Still,
one day,
same price.
$15 for one day, 20 for both.
Oh, 20 for both. Okay.
Yes.
So, and you're in a bigger room this time, right? Or is it the same hotel?
Same
or you
room. Yeah.
Same
What are
room?
you, crazy?
Okay. Well, I'm thinking. Well, last year you guys did so well with it. I thought, well, maybe you might have to expand a little bit.
Why? Okay, I get the concept, but as I try to explain to a lot of people, and I know he feels the same way, why mess with something that works?
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
do we have the option? Yes, we do. But the problem becomes when you start doing that, are you watering down what you're doing? Are you taking away from the spirit of what you wanted to do in the first place? So you got to take those things in consideration. That is, I'm not saying we're opposed to it, but last year's GrossFest just hit on all cylinders of where we know what we can do. We know how to do it. Let's just keep going with it right now.
I think you're
And
going
not mess with something, it's the old saying, why fix something that's not broken?
I think you guys are going to have a blowout summer. I hear people, I'm sure you do too, inside your group and, on the, basically on the horror streets or convention streets. I am hearing more and more people like they're going down to just like one show a year this year.
It's not just one show a year. Who was it? Days of the Dead that just canceled on people like 2 weeks before the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
think it was a Days of the Dead Chicago one a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, because they weren't selling tickets.
I don't know what it was. They claimed they're going to do it in November, but it was like, yeah, but this is kind of odd. 2 weeks before a show and you cancel. Yeah, that was kind of, it kind of raised some red flags there.
Yeah, and who are you going to get back to come in November? You think you can get your celebrity guests to come back after you canceled on them 2 weeks be out?
It's Days of the Dead. Supposedly they got money to throw, so you never know.
Real quick, tell us a little bit about some of the vendors on here. Are we gonna are we having any bands play this year at GrossFest? And some of the vendors.
Talk to 13 Occult again?
No, I have not talked to them about playing. I mean, we could.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. I can talk to them. I'm sure if we asked, they would come back and play again. Yeah, which was really cool last year. Watching them play outside.
It was definitely different.
Yeah.
And some of the vendors you guys got this year. I mean, any fresh names making their first appearance on GrossFest that you guys want to hype up?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, and I can't think of
I was going to say Steve Livengood is coming in, who couldn't make it last year because of plane issues and everything else, and we totally understood. But we held his table, and not only him, but Kelsey is coming in with him, so they should be an interesting pair together as vendors.
Mischief.
Yes. And then, of course, not as a guest, but Phil Herman's coming in as a vendor.
Nice.
And Derek Brash is coming in as a vendor. And
I know Daryl Hook is coming too, right?
And we have a lot of cool. And plus, Ultraviolet Magazine will be there.
Nice.
And Cookie Lady will be there again, which everyone loved Cookie Lady. Especially Saturday morning when everyone was hungover. But yeah, we have we have quite a few new ones too that we know of them but never either didn't meet them in person or just like, so it should be an interesting thing. And that's the whole point too. We want to try to have some different vendors every year too.
Yes.
And just to go to your point, it's like, could we expand and have more vendors? Yes. Do we want to? No, we want that demand to be there. We want it to be, if you didn't get in on it.
We sold out of tables in 4.5 days this year. Once they went up, 4.5 days.
Yep.
Gone. That was crazy.
Yeah. No, but not surprising. Like I said, I mean, your show went so well last year. I mean, you were already you already had your guest list done before the end of the year. And I expect the same thing this year. I suspect, you're going to be like, and the thing is, so it's like before you guys would call them. Now I have a feeling it's more like some people are calling you.
Yes.
And that's a really nice place to be. If you ask me, that's where you want to be.
Yep. We've had quite a few people reach out and ask about being a guest. It is nice. Yeah. It's a good feeling.
It means you're doing it. It means you're doing something right.
Yep. And word's getting around, and people that have come have enjoyed it and told other people. And
well, I plan on having you guys back on after the show. I definitely want to have you guys come back, and because I want to see, get a play-by-play from you guys about the show. Very excited for you, and yeah, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank both of you guys for coming out and hanging out with me tonight, talking GrossFest 2026. I think it's just amazing. I'm so glad I met you both, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. You guys always have something cool to say, and I'm here for it. And,
we appreciate you having us on. And promoting us.
Oh hell yeah! I'm all about promoting GrossFest. I think it's the closest thing to music that I know. In the sense that a booking a show. I just dig it, and I want to thank everybody in the chat who came out and hung out with us tonight. See, Brene is here, and like I said, Cindy is here. Thank you so much. And Tony was here, and Steven was here, and Eric was here. I don't know if anybody else showed up, but you know what? We showed up. That's really all that matters. Thank you again for your support too. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Even when some people are slightly grumpy, but oh well, it happens. But once again, the date of the show is July 31st and August 1st this year. Yep. Tickets are on sale now, right? I mean, they can buy tickets.
Tickets are only available at the door.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
we're weird like that. We're weird like that. Tickets are only available at the door. So yeah, anytime somebody's claiming they got tickets, they're lying.
Yeah.
It's spam. But no, it's one of those things too, because it things happen in life, and that way, you're not holding on to the ticket. You're not getting stuck paying for the ticket. I mean, if you're there, you're paying to come in, period. That's the end of it. We're not trying to sell you other accoutrements to it, if that makes sense, like some of the other conventions do. We are literally old school and different about how we go about things. So yeah, ticket sales are only done at the door, period. That's it.
And that, like I said, and you can go to grossfest.com. I got the page. I pinned it on top there. So if you're listening on the replay, it's pinned on the top there. You can hit the page right there. Also down in the description box below. If you guys want to go and check out, more information about the guest and what's going on. The vendors will be being listed shortly. If you hit the vendor button,
he's
on
just got to get me the list. That's it. Yeah.
Yep. And it's going to be a great summer for you both. And I look forward to talking to you afterwards.
All right.
And to the chat, we're going to be talking. I think we have one guest I'll be putting down here probably by the end of tonight or tomorrow. Our next guest will be singer-songwriter David Martinez. He's going to be here on the 26th. We're going to hear some original music from David and talk to him about his career. And I've been a while since I've had a musical artist on, so I'm looking forward to that. And that will be on the next 8 questions with. And still doing dollar theater and retro tube. Otherwise, that we're out of here. If you brothers just want to hang around for just 1 minute,
Yep.
the rest of you guys, thank you so much for being here, and we will see you on the 26th. Peace. This is the best part.